for home field advantage and left the defending champions dazed, bloodied, and torn from their shield of invincibility. But they are still the two-time defending champions, and although San Francisco may have temporarily brought them to their knees, Dallas is hardly out for the count and remain head and shoulders above the rest of the league. There will be no playoff drive for the young, struggling Redskins. Former Dallas assistant Norv Turner now presides over Washington. And whenever there's Cowboys and Redskins on the same field, anything is possible.
Just remember this, 40 men together can't lose. Okay.
We play Cowboys and Indians next. Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. It rained all night, but blue skies now as the Redskins come to town to face the Cowboys. And what a series over the years this has been. I'm Pat Summerall here with John Madden. The Redskins come in here with a very poor record, but they come off also a bye week, and Norv Turner will no doubt have them ready. What can we expect?
I think that's the thing. As you said, the Redskins really aren't a good team. They still need some new players. They come in here against the world champion Cowboys, and they're going to be outmanned. But if you're going to be outmanned, it's not bad to have Norv Turner on your side. He was the offensive coordinator here for 3 years. This guy knows the Cowboys better than anyone. He's had 2 weeks to prepare. I don't think they really have a chance to beat the Cowboys today, but I think they're going to surprise them, and I think they're going to give them a pretty good battle.
John, we were visiting yesterday with Barry Switzer, and he said since we lost last week to San Francisco, now we have to win all 6. We have to run the table the rest of the season. What do the Cowboys have to do to put that defeat out of their heads?
Well, you know, that's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to put a defeat out of your hands or out of your mind, because it doesn't go away until you get back on the field. That's what they want to do, get back out there today. And they always say we have to go back to basics. And what do basics mean? To me, it means good, strong offensive line play, good special teams, and a heavy dose of the running game and Emmitt Smith.
All right, coming up, it's the Redskins and Cowboys from Texas Stadium. John and I'll be back for the opening kickoff when Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages from your local station. Texas Stadium, the Redskins have won the toss. They'll receive Chris Bonio, set to kick off to Brian Mitchell and Ricky Irvin. Mitchell's 30, Irvin's 32. Rained all night, now the sun is out. Things happen in a hurry in Texas. Gonna be Mitchell at the 10. Gonna be Bonio. Did. Run down finally by Brock Marion. James Washington.
Well, I'll tell you, you have to be ready. You come out of the locker room in that first kickoff, and there's no one better right now. He picks up a couple of good blockers right there. Hits to the outside, as you say, only the kicker there makes a move in the kicker. Now here comes Washington. Washington catches him from behind and just knocks him out of bounds.
The safety man, the last man with a chance. And now, after a 67-yard kickoff return, Redskins 1st and 10 at the Dallas 23. Irvin for a couple down to about the 20.
Now, one of the things the Redskins are going to do early in this game, Pat, is use some no huddle. They haven't done that. They're not starting here on this series, but Norv Turner was telling us last night that, having the bye week, one of the things that they worked on is going 3 wide receivers with no huddle.
They didn't do it yet. Brian Mitchell is the lone setback. They go with 2 tight ends, 2 wide outs. The pitch back to Mitchell. Option pass. Lofted in the end zone for Desmond Howard. Intercepted by Kevin Smith. And the Cowboys avoid opening trouble. And they'll take over 1st and 10.
Well, you're going to see it's a run pass here. You're going to get the flip, and then you start out threatening, hoping to get the corner to come up. Kevin Smith just worked back. He didn't go for the fake. You see, when you take this flip and you throw it out there, you expect him to come up. See, he doesn't come up. He just stays back. He didn't play the run. He just stayed back and waited for the pass. It was a poor pass, and he played it perfectly.
And the Redskins just didn't sell it from the beginning.
Right. If you're going to run a run pass and you don't fake the corner out, you can't throw it to the guy the corner should be.
Cowboys take over 1st and 10. Aikman, Novacek, 30. Down at the 36-35, make it. The Cowboy offense led by that man, Troy Aikman. 63.7% of his completions. Up front, the big, strong offensive line back together. With the exception of Eric Williams, replaced adequately by the rookie Larry Allen. Smith and Daryl Johnston, the 2 running backs. Irvin and Harper wide. And Novacek, who just made the reception, the tight end. Different formation. Smith by himself. Aikman to throw. Emmitt Smith out of bounds after a pickup of 6. Now here's the Redskin defense. Somewhat injured as Leonard Marshall starts at one of the tackle spots along with Tim Johnson. Sterling Palmer and Tony Woods back playing at defensive ends. Collins, Stowe, and Harvey. Ken Harvey having an outstanding year. Darrell Green and Tom Carter, the corners. 2nd and 4. Emmitt Smith. Close to midfield. 1st down. Tyrone Stowe tripped him up.
Well, we were talking about a heavy dose Emmitt Smith and their favorite play. That was it, that lead draw. And Daryl Johnston just leads in there, the fullback. Emmitt Smith will start in behind him and either stay behind him like he did that time, or he'll cut back to the other side. That one started left, was led left, and stayed left.
1st and 10 Dallas, right at midfield, just shy at that point. In the star. Flags on the play. Smith into Washington territory, picked up about 3. Sterling Palmer made the stop.
And it looked like the Redskins jumped off sides.
They did.
The Cowboys have 2 guys getting up slow. One was Harper, and the other one is big Derek Kennard.
Derek Kennard has had a bad toe. Playing on grass as he did last week at Candlestick Park in San Francisco is a help.
Playing on this stuff he's not going to get up. You wonder how in the first couple of minutes, though, Pat, a guy can be sweating as much as Derek Kennard is.
Well, there's a lot to carry. That's Derek Kennard over on the Dallas bench being looked at. He had a bad toe coming into this game. Stepnoski stepped on him. Now Ron Stone's the right guard. Aikman over the head of Daryl Johnston. That was a 5-yard penalty against the Redskins, so it was 1st and 5. Now it's 2nd and 5.
Yeah, and that pass didn't look like a Troy Aikman pass. I mean, I know one thing, we talked about the thumb that he injured a week ago, and I don't know that is completely healed yet. The other thing I know about Troy Aikman is he doesn't like to throw a wet ball in that field, although it's dry out now, but the field is still wet.
The ball's got to be wet. Emmitt Smith. That's close to a 1st. Stopped by Tony Woods. Emmitt Smith just went over 1,000 yards for this year with that carry. 1,002 now, his 4th consecutive 1,000-yard season.
And I'll tell you, when you talk about the running backs in the National Football League, he's the one that I would always take. I mean, I know that there are guys that maybe run better than he does, but when you take the whole thing of blocking, pass receiving, and running, to me, Emmitt Smith is the best.
Well, you get arguments, of course, about Barry Sanders, and maybe he is a better runner, but all around.
Yeah, all around, and that's probably true. I mean, I don't know that anyone can run like Barry Sanders, but when you take everything that a professional running back has to do, to me, this guy's the perfect guy.
Dallas first down at the Redskin 40. Emmitt Smith behind the lead of Daryl Johnston. Just a couple of yards, hit by Tyrone Stowe.
You know what they're doing now with that lead draw? They used to always lead to the side the fullback would line up on. And so the defense has always got a key on that. So now what they're doing is they're starting to go in motion, you know, line up on one side and then go to the other side, you know, or bring the guy in motion, you know, and not give him a key before it starts.
Two tight ends this time. Novacek and Scott Galbraith. Take the toss, going to throw back with a screen to Novacek. Got some room behind a blocker. Larry Allen in front of Novacek, who gets down almost to the Washington 20.
You know, if you have a good team like the Cowboys, you can even foul it up. You know, you watch, you're going to see Ron Stone, the right guard. He backs up. He runs into Johnston right there. They foul up the right side. There's nothing out there. And then they come back and they throw the tight end screen out to the left side to Jay Novacek.
That's confusion.
I know it. Big Larry Allen was out there making a block. Yeah, the right guard, he was backing up. The fullback ran into him going the other way. They throw the tight end to the backside. The right tackle's going across, and it's still the
Put that in the computer. Smith gets very little. Leonard Marshall, who started at defensive tackle in place of Bobby Wilson. There's Big Leonard, who enjoyed so many outstanding years with the Giants when he was paired especially with Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, remember those days there was, I mean, to me, Lawrence Taylor was the most dominant defensive player that I've ever seen since we've been doing this. But I think as you take two guys running stunts together, Leonard Marshall and Lawrence Taylor, they could do it better than anyone.
They've had some games that nobody else could play. Here's Aikman. Intended for Novacek, incomplete. Covered by Gobea. Derek Kennard, they're putting his shoe back on.
Well, he had some kind of special brace or something in there. And then they taped up his big toe just then. And when you weigh, I had a spy, Pat, that told me that Derek Kennard now weighs 357 pounds.
You had a spy?
Yep, a spy. And that's a triple spinner plus 57. And so when you weigh 357, someone has to tie your shoe for you. You don't do that yourself.
That's a lot of weight on one toe. Aikman fires, juggled and incomplete. Intended for Michael Irvin, but a flag on the play. Bob McElwee is the referee today.
Yeah, that's always, over the years, that's been one of the great matchups, too. Michael Irvin against Daryl Green.
We have two fouls. Defensive pass interference, number 28 is accepted. Offside, number 57 is declined. First down.
Double dose against the Redskins.
Yeah, that's tough. Daryl Green, 5'8", you know, playing out there against Michael Irvin, 6'2". Daryl Green, still one of the best cover guys. Yeah, because, I mean, he can still run. He has good speed. Michael Irvin uses his body and his size, and if you go and try and use it against him and do everything you can, they're going to call interference on you. I mean, I don't know that there's anything there. I mean, I think, to me, that's pretty good coverage.
He grabbed his arm there. Grabbed his arm after it was juggled.
Yeah, the ball hit there.
Here's Emmitt Smith. Inside the 5, inside the 2. Touchdown to the Dallas Cowboys, Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, I think we were talking about back to basics, Pat. That's what basics is right there. That's what Barry Switzer was saying, that's the way the old Cowboys used to be. They weren't that way the last week, where they just take the ball, give it to Emmitt Smith, give them with the lead, get behind that big offensive line. Everyone just take off. Everyone just drive. You see the lead block, boom, right there. Take out that guy. He makes a little move, and then about the last 4 yards, he just drove those legs and got in the end zone.
The extra point by Bonio is good. 7-0. Dallas over Washington. Cowboys set to kick it off. They just scored on the touchdown by Emmitt Smith. And they lead 7-0. Chris Bonio. At the 7. Brian Mitchell. He almost broke the first one. James Washington made the same saving tackle. He just did it again. The Redskin offense. Gus Frerotte, the rookie from Tulsa, the quarterback. Lachey, Brown, Giesick, McKenzie, and Simmons. And in the backfield, Ricky Irvin starts. Cedric Smith, the fullback. Henry Ellard and Desmond Howard wide, and Ethan Horton, the tight end. James Jenkins shaken up on the kickoff. 7-0. Dallas leads. 7-0. Dallas over Washington. The Dallas defense, highly rated defense. Haley and Tolbert, the defensive ends. Lett and Maryland start at defensive tackle. 3 very quick linebackers. Darren Smith, Jones. The secondary, Brown and Smith, the corners. That's Henry Ellard in motion. Rock to throw it. Desmond Howard. He'll move the sticks for the Redskins. Darren Woodson made the stop. The pass complete from Frerotte.
That's what you like about Gus Frerotte. I mean, he's a 7th-round draft choice. Of course, Heath Schuler was the #1 draft choice. Everyone thought he would be the guy, and Gus Frerotte comes in, 7th-round draft choice out of Tulsa, but he looks like he's been there before.
There's a guy who's been playing pretty well of late, who just went out.
Yeah, you know, he got injured on that play, and he was down for a while, and then he looked like he thought he was already jumped up and started to run, got back to the huddle and decided he wasn't.
Chad Hennings has taken Leon Lett's place. They alternate anyway, so that each of the 3 tackles gets about 30 reps, 30 plays as they call it. Here's Frerotte. Desmond Howard juggling incomplete.
Oh, I thought the one guy said it was good and the other guy said it was out. Those officials are not always together on those signals.
No.
But I think that was the right call, that the ball was juggled. You see here, that's a good throw, though, by Gus Frerotte. Looked like he just didn't have both feet in.
Just got one down, that's right.
Yeah, because he did have control of the ball and just didn't get that second foot down.
2nd and 10. Cedric Smith gets the carry and picks up about 6. There's a name you don't hear much. Cedric Smith, used basically as a blocker, but he was in the same backfield at the University of Florida, number 37. In fact, he was Emmitt Smith's blocker in college.
Yeah, and he knows that that's what he is. He says when he starts for the Redskins, he knows that he's a blocker because he's always been a blocker.
Yeah, tough guy.
Yeah, he gets a couple of carries a game and maybe a catch, and the rest of his game is just blocking.
Right back to throw. Over the head of Orlando Truitt. Wouldn't have been any good anyway because he was out of bounds.
Yeah, when you see the official throw their hat, that means that the guy went out of bounds. Truitt went out of bounds, and then you can't come back in and be the first one to touch the ball. And now the Redskins, decided they wanted to take some shots deep on the Cowboys today. Of course, that's the second one. The first one was that run pass that was intercepted, and that one there was to Orlando Truitt.
Well, things happen when people take shots at you and they're successful. The word gets around.
Yeah, and it was the Cincinnati Bengals that took those deep shots at the Cowboys, and they still haven't put that fire out.
49ers did it last week. There's a foot under there. Have changed their mind. Chip Lohmiller is going to try a field goal from 53 yards out. No good. And remember, they bring the ball back now to where the field goal was attempted from. Not to where the ball was snapped, as it was in previous years, twice before. As he's faced this deadly enemy, Tuesday the terror is back. Sigourney Weaver stars in the non-stop action thriller Alien 3. World broadcast premiere Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox. Emmitt Smith is back, so apparently nothing seriously wrong with him. Aikman fakes to Smith. Fires complete to Michael Irvin. That looked more like Aikman. Right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's go to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat. Buffalo makes an early statement. Opening drive of 78 yards, capped by that Thurman Thomas touchdown run, and the Bills on top of the pack, 7-0 in the first. Back to Pat and John.
That's the score here as well. Dallas 7, Washington nothing. 7 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Dallas at the Washington 40. Smith. Emmitt Smith got blockers and room. Down at about the 16.
I tell you, they gave him a double lead on that time, Pat. They're going to pull Nate Newton. You're going to see Nate Newton is going to pull, and Daryl Johnston. You think they're going to lead this way, but they're going this way, and in comes Emmitt Smith behind him, and then he cuts back here. What a run this is. Watch Nate Newton. There goes Johnson. Here comes Nate. Boom, there's a block. Boom, there's a block. That's the thing that frees him. No one cuts back better than Emmitt Smith, and then he just outruns the rest of the defense until that point.
6 carries, 51 yards for Emmitt Smith. Aikman fakes. Throws to Daryl Johnston, who broke away from one tackler and gets inside the 5. Daryl Morrison made the stop.
And the Moose deserves the ball now after those blocks. I mean, how about that block by the Moose and Nate Newton on the play before that? Then you give him a little bone. He didn't want to. He was trying to go deep. You see him pump deep. He was looking in the end zone. Then he had to come back and then turn the Moose loose. The Moose is always out there for Aikman. He says, that's one thing I always know, that if I need something, there'll be a Moose around the crossing because no one ever covers the Moose. So he looks for Harper, Irvin, and those guys, and then the Moose comes late to him.
Emmitt Smith gets the carry and gets the Dallas touchdown behind the Moose.
Some running back, and you have to have a big offensive line. Nate Newton again, he gets him going. Mark 2-8 right there, a little block by Jay Novacek, and Emmitt Smith gets it in the end zone. I tell you, when you got these two big guys right here, Nate Newton and Mark 2-8, that's not a bad place to start running.
Why would you run anywhere else? You got to go the other way once in a while. Munoz extra point is good. 14-0. Dallas leads. First quarter at Texas Stadium. Emmitt Smith just a little winded following today's game, except in Dallas and Phoenix. Fox doubleheader action continues. Most of you'll see the Philadelphia Eagles battle the Cardinals. Others will watch the Saints take on the Raiders, Atlanta play Denver, or Tampa Bay at Seattle. Check your local listings for the game in your area. The touchdown again.
You know, if you look, the first block is going to be made here, and this is going to get something going inside. You know, they're going to get some movement right there. Boom, you see that gives them then a good lead block there, and then Emmitt Smith didn't want to carry it into that thing. He decided to leave that mess in there, took it to the outside, knew that he could just power it in outside those guys.
Well, of course, during the week, there's been a lot of discussion, not necessarily controversy, about Emmitt Smith's physical condition and whether he spends enough time in the weight room or not.
If you have a guy like Emmitt Smith, he can spend time wherever he wants to. I wouldn't worry about that. And that baloney always starts after a loss. You notice that?
Oh, yeah. Bonio's kickoff sails down to Brian Mitchell. Inside the 5 and about the 2. And they put together another good return. Out to about the 26. Right now, for a game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
Pat, Andre Reed and Jim Kelly had problems on Monday night against Pittsburgh. No problems here. They hook up with a 55th time, 15-yard strike. Buffalo ahead of Green Bay by 14. Back to Dallas. Pat and John.
And, of course, Green Bay comes here on Thanksgiving Day to play the Cowboys.
You know, it's interesting, Pat, is in that game, Buffalo and Green Bay, they are the two teams that play each other today, and they are the two teams that play on Thanksgiving Day also.
They both have to travel. That is interesting. Cedric Smith, the ball carrier.
You know, and one thing about the Cowboys, you know, and as you said, Barry Switzer says they want to run the table in these 6 games. And 2 of those games have to be in 5 days. I think this is a big plus for them, getting off to a 14-0 lead. If they can put this game away early, they can rest some guys today and start getting them ready for Thanksgiving.
Tony Tolbert out on the sidelines, replaced by James Repko. Pass intercepted. James Washington with a pick. Ball's loose. Cowboys still have it. Washington still has it.
Yeah, that's a definition, Pat, of a quarterback. It doesn't have to be a rookie quarterback. Any quarterback thrown into a crowd. I have no idea what Gus Frerotte saw there, but there were 3 Cowboys there. If you just let it go, and you'll see what happens when he's ready to throw, or when he throws the ball. So they start to motion to that side, and then the Cowboys are rolling to that side. Now, if we can just stop it right here, you can see the 3 Cowboys there, and he's going to throw it right into that. That's what you call throwing into a crowd. I mean, he throws it there, and if you look, there's 3 there and 2 more coming.
Yeah.
And there's only 1 Redskin. So that, you throw those percentages, you're not going to be successful.
Here's Aikman back to throw. Going for Harper, had it, dropped it. That could have been very easily 6 more. Tom Carter was the defender. That is usually the biggest single factor in failure and success. Who turns it over more? We saw it happen last week at Candlestick.
Yeah, and the Redskins are the worst at that. They're minus 15 this year. And then, you know, you take that they're not really a very good team. They're rebuilding, and then minus 15 in the takeaway giveaway, you're not going to win many games.
Emmitt Smith stopped by Tim Johnson on the draw for a loss of perhaps 2. Maybe a yard.
There's a solid player for the Redskins inside is Tim Johnson, a very good player against the run. You know, very strong in there. Got he and Leonard Marshall in there, you know, to kind of take away that inside. And if you look at most of Emmitt Smith's runs today, they've been going outside of that middle.
3rd and 12. 3 wide outs. Aikman to throw. The Redskins blitz. Gets it down the middle to Michael Irvin. Not enough for a first down. He's taken down by Daryl Green.
You know, a heck of a play was Daryl Johnston picking up that blitz. I mean, if Daryl Johnston doesn't pick up this blitz, I mean, this is a heck of a deal. I watch him as the only blocker here. He's going to come across and pick up one here. But if he doesn't, Troy Aikman's looking out his ear hole. I mean, watch him come across, boom, right there. I mean, just enough to let Troy Aikman make this play. Now, it didn't make a first down, but it saved Troy Aikman from taking a big hit. Those are the types of things Daryl Johnston does.
32 yards away for Bonio. Good. 17-0. Dallas leading Still in the first quarter at Texas Stadium. Boy, what a player that is. Of 1992 and 93, hoping for 3. Look at Mark Stepnoski. You know, you hear about Nate Newton sitting next to him. You hear about the massive offensive line, the Cowboys, but there's the guy who really anchors the whole thing.
Yeah, and you know, he's going to be a free agent after this year, and I think they're right now, the Cowboys, if they said, you know, who do you have to sign? They're already thinking about the cap and next year. I think Mark Stepnoski is the top of the list of the guys they have to sign.
Brian Mitchell. Flag on the play. Mitchell still running. Woodson finally took him out of bounds. But a flag from both sides of the field.
You know, the Redskins really got off to a pretty good start with that first kickoff return. They had good field position, everything going for them. And then they threw that interception on the run pass, and they've gone downhill since.
Bob McElwee and his group in conference.
He had it the wrong way. It's against the Redskins.
We have a double foul after change of possession. The receiving team will keep the ball at the spot of their foul. First down.
That means that both teams had a penalty.
The elbow man is on 50 of the kicking team. First down.
So it's a first down at the 32. Washington's first 4 possessions. And you can see what happened. 2 interceptions and a missed field goal. And Dallas has the lead 17-0. Straight ahead is Ricky Irvin. Leon Lett back in the Dallas defense. He and Russell Maryland, the 2 tackles at the moment.
You know, and that's the strength of this Cowboy defense too, is Leon Lett and Russell Maryland. And then when Chad Hennings comes in there, they pretty well take care of that middle, not only against the run, but getting a good pass rush or push by those tackles in the middle.
2nd and 8. Brock back to throw it. The intended receiver fell down, but here comes a flag from 30 yards away.
Boy, did Giesick get Haley on that thing. Charles Haley came on a stunt, and John Giesick to center really picked him off. Woo.
Against the Redskins. While Bob McElwee puts things in order, word on James Jenkins, the injured Redskin a few moments ago, was that he has a bruised thigh and a sprained knee, and he may not be back. And then again, he might.
Offensive pass interference, number 83. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Titus Winans. Call for the offensive pass interference. Brought high over the head of everybody in the direction of Desmond Howard.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, it's tough for a quarterback in this league. I mean, you know, the whole thing is a passing league, and the whole burden of moving the ball goes to the quarterback in the passing game. And I'll tell you, it gets tougher when you're a rookie, and then it gets even tougher when it gets 3rd and long. I mean, that's probably the toughest thing you have to do, is get in those 3rd and long situations.
Reggie Roby, number 1, back to punt for the Redskins. Kevin Williams deep for Dallas. Dave Thomas, Darren Woodson back in front of Kevin Williams.
Reggie Roby still the only punter in football that wears a watch to punt.
I haven't figured what the purpose of that is.
Probably just to get talked about. But who else would wear a watch to go to work on a football field?
Well, that punt is not a lot to talk about.
Here we go.
Those are two things you always liked about being a football player. You didn't have to wear a watch to go to work. You didn't have to take a shower to go to work. And here comes a guy, and lo and behold, he's wearing a watch to go to work. And I tell you, we'll really be in trouble if guys start taking showers before games.
We'll be in trouble if they don't start taking showers after games,
Oh,
too.
no. After, it's all right. I mean, after, they just hose down after. You know, what happens with those, we're looking at Gus Frerotte there, is all the rules of football go towards offense, to help the offense,
right,
and specifically the passing game. So that means that puts more pressure on the passer or the quarterback to have to do it. And there aren't many guys that can do it. I mean, rookies or not. I mean, you can say Gus Ferrotte's a rookie, 7th-round draft choice, but in all of football, to me, there's only 6 or 7 guys that can do it.
One of them plays for Dallas.
That's right.
One of them plays for Buffalo. One for San Francisco. John Freeze.
Ball in place with the
Loosening
spot
up.
of first touching. First down.
John Freeze opened the season as the Redskins starting quarterback. Then they went to Heath Shuler, then to Gus Frerotte. And the 2 times we've seen John Freeze, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, one was against the Giants, and the last one was a comeback against the 49ers.
Here's Emmitt Smith to the 40.
Emmitt Smith gets 5 yards.
You notice that Daryl Johnston, the Moose, always gets his guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, a lot of blockers will run out there and they'll shoot or just throw air. But if you watch Daryl Johnston here in the lead, he always gets his guy and always knocks his guy off his feet. I mean, I don't remember him ever come out. You see right there, boom, he just knocks his guy right down. I don't remember him ever coming out and missing a guy.
What else? He always seems to pick the right guy. His choices are so good.
And he finds the hole and the route to get there.
Smith behind Nate Newton. He got an excellent block this time. It's a first down, Dallas.
And again, it was Johnston and Nate Newton.
Yep. Now, Big Nate is 330, but he can run.
I know. Here's Johnston right here. Now he's going to make the turnout block. You see, boom, there's the kick out right there. That opens a hole, and then Big Nate Newton, he comes running through the hole. He gets that block. 2 real good blocks at the point of attack. Daryl Johnston, the Moose, boom, he gets that kick out, that bob block, back on backer, and then the old guard, Nate Newton coming through the hole, motoring on through the hole. That's a football play.
Here's the Moose.
The Moose.
Yeah, he deserves that, Pat.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've been watching him block, if all the people know the types of things that he's been doing, and every once in a while, he's even looking up the screen to see if he can get a picture of himself. He wants a record of that run. Yeah, if they're going to run the ball, they're going to give it to Emmitt Smith, but every once in a while, they'll handle one to the Moose. He looked up at that big screen there.
That's 5 yards. That might be his longest run of the year.
Oh, yeah. Usually takes him 3 or 4 runs to get that far.
That's Emmitt Smith. Try to go over the top. And the tower was just too high.
If I had one of my goals, if I were the Cowboys today, would be not to beat up Emmitt Smith in this game, in this situation.
Brought down by Johnson.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score Dallas 17, the Redskins nothing. As John Madden told you in the opening, we got to get back to basics, and that's pretty basic right there.
Yeah, I think anytime you say back to basics, you mean the running game, and you say Emmitt Smith has already rushed for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. But I think on that Monday night game against the Giants, they beat him up, trying to get him too much yardage.
35 carries.
Yeah, he went in tired against the 49ers. They shouldn't do that here today.
Aikman to Smith. Taken down immediately by Tony Woods. And Dallas is going to have to punt.
Tony Woods lost his helmet. That's okay as long as a fight doesn't break out or you don't have to do any more hitting. But sometimes it's tough if you have to do any fighting. I mean, you don't want to do any fighting on the field, but if you have to do any fighting, or if there's still some hitting going on, you don't have a hat. That can make you turn to your shoulder pad.
Think about other things. John Jett back to punt. Brian Mitchell deep. Kind of kick he wanted. High hanging. Fair catch at the 15 by Mitchell. The Redskins will take over with Dallas leading 17-0 in the second quarter. Back at Texas Stadium, Dallas 17, Washington 0. Early in the second quarter, and John Freeze is the Redskin quarterback. 3 wide receivers for Washington. Freeze to Ricky Irvin. Irvin's outside the 20, stopped by Robert Jones.
There's probably nothing tougher than what John Freeze has to do now. And here's that Redskin no huddle we were talking about, but come in at 17 points down, and you know, running game can't be a big thing. Have to throw the ball and play the #1 defense in the league.
2nd and 5. Freeze caught by Desmond Howard. And that is a catch. First down, Washington.
Now what the Redskins are doing, Norv Turner will call in 2 plays to John Freeze. One is a run and one is a pass. If the Cowboys have 6 guys up in front in the box, then they'll run the ball. If they have 7 guys, they'll pass the ball. This should be a pass.
Hand off to Irvin.
I guess this should be a run. That was right, because there were 6 guys in the box. If they're gonna mix in and play in there tight, if they're gonna have 7 guys in this box area here, then they want to pass. If there's 6, they want to throw.
3 wide receivers. Freeze back to throw it. There's going to be a flag on this one. It's intended for Titus Winans. Brock Marion gave him a little nudge.
And this is a momentum changer. You know, Jimmy Johnson used to always talk about momentum changers.
Number 31 defense. First down.
Yeah, I think it's getting 3 wide receivers in there, and I think it's also changing the quarterback, and I think it's also going without a huddle.
This is something the Redskins haven't done. This no huddle.
No. So the Cowboys can't be ready, but here's the box that they're counting here. So if there's 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this ought to be a pass.
Should be. Freeze goes back. Freeze looking deep for Desmond Howard, who says he was interfered with, and there's a flag on the play. Kevin Smith running with Desmond Howard.
Kevin Smith is saying he stepped out of bounds.
He knocked him out of bounds.
The receiver was out of bounds. The receiver was out of bounds.
So Kevin Smith won that argument, but Freeze is still arguing with the guy. If he goes out of bounds, if he's knocked out of bounds, then that's a penalty too.
Yep.
You can see right here that he does go out of bounds, but if he were pushed out of bounds, then it's a penalty. I mean, he was out of bounds, but if he's pushed out, that's what Norv Turner's saying.
Look at me.
He wouldn't listen to Norv. He would say, look at me anyway. And he was right. I mean, he was pushed out of bounds.
Second down, draw play, Ricky Irvin. Irvin is knocked out of bounds after he picked up about 8. Kevin Smith led the tacklers.
This isn't a bad thing. You see, Norv is calling the plays, sending 2 plays into John Freeze. Again, the run and the pass. So when you're calling the plays, you can't argue too much.
No huddle, 3rd and 2.
John Freeze reads this front, and then he decides run or pass.
Blitz coming. Irvins and the Redskins are close to a first down as he made his decision after he got into the hole.
Yeah, this will be a chess game for Butch Davis, the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, because you don't have a chance. He hasn't had a chance to talk to his team yet to get him off the field. They have to make all their adjustments right now, boom, on the move with his call.
Freeze back to throw. Good protection. Ball is tipped, and Brock Marion makes a dive. Darren Smith kept the ball first.
See, now the Cowboys can get a substitution in there. They just brought Jim Jeffcoat in, but he just has to line up and play again because the Redskins haven't huddled up.
2nd and 10. Pass complete to Desmond Howard. Broke one tackle, out of bounds. Redskins first down at the Dallas 20.
Well, that's one thing about receivers, and Jerry Rice does so well, is when you catch a ball, keep your feet. But again, it all starts here with protection. This offensive line of the Washington Redskins is still a good pass protecting group.
They are big and strong. And Jim Hannafin, who's the offensive line coach, is a very good teacher. Freeze. Redskin touchdown, Desmond Howard.
That was a heck of a drive. 3 wide receivers, no huddle, new quarterback. I'll tell you, that was impressive.
Desmond Howard, a very key part of that drive for the touchdown for Norv Turner.
Norv Turner, a pretty key part of that. He calling the play. The offensive line doing a good job of pass protection, and John Freeze coming in cool.
And as you pointed out, that Dallas defense just wasn't expecting that. No huddle.
And there was nothing they could do about it. They couldn't huddle up on defense, nor could they talk about it. They didn't take a timeout.
Miller, extra point good, 17-7. With 11:36 left in the first half at Texas Stadium, Washington closes to 10 points.
Let's look at the touchdown again. Here's Desmond Howard on the bottom here, and he's just going to run a, see, from the 20-yard line. He starts in like he's going to the inside, makes a good cut there. He sold that he was going to the post, and then he ran back to the corner. What you have to do in those post corners, you sell, you're going to post, make a play post, then go back.
Kevin Williams handles Lohmiller's kickoff, and he comes out of the pack, almost broke it. Tripped up by Tyrone Stowe. The Redskins' scoring drive was very impressive. 9 plays, 84 yards. Desmond Howard scored the touchdown on a 19-yard catch from John Freeze. And Freeze has run the no-huddle offense.
And very impressive. I mean, you know, as you said before John Freeze came in, we've seen him twice this year, and both times he's been impressive. Now the Cowboys have their work cut out for him, not on the field, but on the sideline, making their adjustments to that 3 wide receiver no huddle.
That's Daryl Johnston in motion. That's Emmitt Smith with the ball, and the Redskins appear to have picked up some life over on the bench. Now here they're making those adjustments you were talking about.
Yeah, you see they have those images, those electronic images, which are the pictures, and they show the players the pictures of the formations, and then they talk about what the Redskins did, and then they talk about what they're going to do, what their adjustment is going to be. See, there's a machine that stuff comes out of. They take the picture that comes out of that machine, then to the sideline, then hopefully into the head.
Aikman, incomplete. Good coverage intended for Michael Irvin, but the coverage was right there by Carter.
I tell you, Tom Carter's had good coverage a couple times. I mean, you just watch him right there. He's looking in. He's playing an outside technique. Irvin starts on that deep end. He just rides right in with him and gets that left hand in to knock the ball out. But Irvin didn't even get a half a step on Tom Carter.
Brings up 3rd and 11. Got to take it.
How would that be? An old offensive lineman, the old right tackle, you sit there, you got a bee in your neck.
That wasn't a bee. Here's Aikman.
It was a bug.
Not quite. Aikman had the broken nose and the bad thumb. Found a dent in his face mask after last week's game that he didn't know was there.
But you know, when you get a guy that's a competitor like a Troy Aikman and a tough guy like a Troy Aikman, he doesn't think about, you know, bad thumbs and broken noses and bent face masks and all that stuff. He got a broken nose and a bent face mask against the 49ers and didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it.
He didn't know the face mask was bent till when? Thursday they checked it?
Yeah. John Jett. Off the side of his foot and out of bounds. He'll mark it at about the 36-7 yard line. Here's the thing that Troy Aikman didn't know happened to him.
Yeah, watch right here. There's the hit by Charles Mann that broke his nose. And face mask and a whole bunch of stuff up in there. The Cowboy defense here, Pat, and they're making the adjustments. What they did is they're going 5 defensive backs. You see, Brock Marion, number 31, is in there now. So they have 5 defensive backs, 4 defensive linemen, and only 2 linebackers.
Darren Smith. I don't believe it's playing. He is not. Darren Smith is out. Dixon Edwards plays.
And they brought Brock Marion in, who's a safety. So, again, the Redskins no huddle. Redskins 3 wide receivers. The Cowboys played them with 4 defensive backs on the touchdown drive. Their adjustment is to go nickel or 5 defensive backs.
2nd and 8. Freeze. Incomplete. Titus Winan.
If you look, the Redskins have only thrown to their wide receivers, and Henry Ellard hasn't caught a pass yet.
It's been Howard for the most part. Here's Freeze. Pass is intercepted by Brock Marion. There's the extra defensive back.
Yeah, they made the adjustment on that first drive, that touchdown drive. They didn't make an adjustment. They went to a nickel. They put Brock Marion in. And that time, in fact, they're in a dime in this area. And you're going to see the whole secondary here. And they're going to blitz up front, put a little pressure on him, give him a bad read. Brock Marion just sitting free in the middle. I'll tell you, he made a heck of an interception.
You see the receiver fall down, too.
And watch Brock Marion get up in the air. I mean, he was watching John Freeze. Freeze looked in the middle. Brock Marion got that jump. Went up in the air, made a good catch and jump.
First down, Dallas at the Redskin 38. Here's Aikman to Emmitt Smith. Smith to the 35. The Aflac trivia question this week: who was the first Redskins player to rush for 1,000 yards in a season?
Can I give a hint that the Cowboys? I'll give a hint anyway. I don't know if I can, but the Cowboys have a player by the same name playing now in today's game. All those people that...
You don't need much time after that clue. That's pretty good. Here's Aikman. The pass is batted up in the air. The answer is, who was the first Redskin player to rush for 1,000 yards? The answer, Larry Brown in 1970, rushed for 1,125 yards. And they were tough yards. And you remember Larry Brown had a problem hearing, so Vince Lombardi, who was the coach, changed where he stood in the huddle.
Yeah, I remember Vince Lombardi was one of the first guys that recognized that. And then the thing that I remember about Larry Brown is, you said he was tough yards. Larry Brown was a tough guy.
If you couldn't hear Lombardi, you had a problem. Aikman, flag on the play.
I mean, he was one of those guys that did it all too. I mean, he came and and gave everything he had. I mean, he played. He was like Emmitt Smith.
Number 88, offense. 5 yards. 3rd down.
Michael Irvin.
That should never happen. I mean, I don't care what. A wide receiver should never move before the snap. They aren't going to do anything. You know, like if you're a big center and you got a nose tackle, you know, and a guy's in there breathing heavy, and you know, you got to get that ball. So, you know, sometimes you jump a little. You got to, you know, block a good pass rusher. But when you're out there standing out all by yourself out there, you know, with your hands down like that, you say you should never jump offside.
To throw it. Redskins on a blitz, and they get there. Ken Harvey made the stop on Aikman. They are close enough not to try a field goal. I thought they would. They don't.
You see, they get a little push by Harvey, a little blitz. What they did is a guy that lined up over Nate backed out. Then Nate blocked Harvey. He blocked him so well, he darn near knocked him down. And this is why. See, it all starts off with good coverage. I mean, I don't know what the heck that was. I mean, that was pushing and shoving, and Daryl Green just knocked Alvin Harper right out of bounds.
And so you can forget about him being the receiver. This is Jet. Kick lands at the 10 and bounces back, and is down to about the 11 by Dave Thomas. 17-7. The Cowboy lead is 10. Texas Stadium. Redskin ball. Cowboys leading 17-7. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Boy, you would have thought this morning that this was going to be one wet, rainy day. And look how fast it changes with sunlight on the field. That's Ricky Irvin's outside the 15. Stopped by Darren Woodson. Got about 5. There's the sun. It's crystal clear. Very little wind. That's the thing that usually follows when a front comes through that quickly. But not a factor. 2nd and 6. John Freeze, the quarterback. Flag on the play. Ricky Irvins was the ball carrier. Got to about the 20.
You know, the Cowboys put out that no huddle 3 wide receiver fire because now they're back to their normal defense. They played their normal defense, and the Redskins, when they use a 3 wide receiver no huddle.
Holding number 89, offense. Half the distance to the goal line, 2nd down.
Ethan Horton.
Yeah, you see him against Charles Haley. That's a hold with the left arm, a tackle when the right arm comes around it, and Charles Haley draws a lot of those things. But the Cowboys are back to their normal defense now. They're back to their 4 linemen, 3 linebackers, 4 defensive backs.
And the Redskins have gone back to no huddle. So they're in the huddle now.
Yeah, right. So they kind of put that fire out, and that was a good adjustment by Butch Davis, the defensive coordinator, and the Cowboy defense.
But it got the Redskins a touchdown.
Yeah, it was a little late, but it was good.
2nd down. Freeze standing at the goal line. Tries to drop flag on the play again. Tried to drop it out of there to Ricky Irvins. Incomplete, but a penalty marker down.
And it's going to be against the Cowboys. It looked like it was on Ricky Irvins, too.
Number 26, defense.
Kevin
5
Smith.
yards, automatic 1st down.
Because they threw it right where the ball was thrown to Ricky Irvins. It looked like it was on the coverage of Ricky Irvins.
I think it was against Henry Ellard.
Yeah, Kevin
Maybe.
Smith is looking up to see if he can see a replay of it. You know, it's interesting here how the players do that. They have the big screen in the end zone, and after something happens, good or bad, they all look up there to see if they can see it again.
Or see if they're going to get blamed or credit. 1st down. That's the key to this. On 1st down, it's Irvins. No gain. Stopped by Dixon Edwards.
Yeah, those are the guys that really make a lot of plays for these Cowboys. Those linebackers in there, and they're so fast. When you get Dixon Edwards and Darren Smith, and all 3 of them line up here. You see, so you can't get at them. So they don't get up where they have to take on line. But look how quickly they move. I mean, they all move one way and then back, and they're stacked and protected.
As you said, they're so quick. Here is the pass complete to Cedric Smith. That'll be another first down for Washington. Tripped up by Darren Woodson.
You know, now that the Redskins have good field position, Pat, I wouldn't be surprised if they'd go back to that 3 wide receiver, no huddle offense again, because they got the Cowboys back in their regular defense.
I think this would be a good shot, a good place for Freeze to take a deep shot, because they believe they've got to do some of that.
Yeah, and they know that, you know, again, Cincinnati did it, and that kind of opened up the thing for the Cowboys, and everyone thinks to take a deep shot against the Cowboys now.
Desmond Howard right. Haley was in Freeze's face, but Ellard dives to make the catch, and it's incomplete. Dives to try to make the catch. The flag on the play. Freeze was hit by Haley just as he let it go.
You know, and Henry Ellard still hasn't caught a pass today.
Number 79 offense. 10 yards, first down.
Lachey called. He was blocking Haley, and Haley got away.
You know, and that's the second time. You know, we saw James Jenkins hold on Charles Haley. And we see an illegal shot to the face. Jim Lachey's looking up to see if he can see it on the screen. But Charles Haley causes havoc. Yeah, I mean, he runs those stunts. He's in the quarterback. He makes people hold him. He makes people hit him in the face. There's always something. And if you just watch, here's where it's going to happen right there. There's Charles Haley on Jim Lachey. You see right there, that right hand. Haley started that inside move. Lachey put up that inside hand.
Brian Mitchell on the draw from Freeze. Minimal yardage.
You know, that's what tackles do. A left tackle has to put his right foot up, and he takes away the inside move with his right hand, his inside hand, and his inside foot. And so Jim Lachey had great technique. I mean, he threw that right hand up in there when Haley took that gap. The only thing is he threw it up into his face.
Second down. Freeze to throw if he has time. Pass complete to Desmond Howard at the 40. Just shy of the 40. It's the best day we've seen from Desmond Howard in a while.
Yeah, and again, we haven't seen anything from Henry Ellard, but let's watch Jim Lachey here and Charles Haley. You see that inside arm has to be there, so you don't let him go inside. The inside is the shortest distance to the quarterback. Take that away and ride him to the outside.
Freeze to throw. Out to Mitchell. Dives for the first down. And I think he got it. I saw him put the ball in both hands out in front of him to try to get past the sticks. And I think he did. He did.
Alonda Truitt just came in there for Desmond Howard. So if they're going to take a deep shot, Pat, it could be here, and it could be to Alonda Truitt.
No huddle. Freeze chased from behind and hit just as he let it go by Jim Jeffcoat and Russell Maryland.
And that wouldn't have been a bad time to take the shot either, because he had one-on-one coverage over there. See, what they're doing is he looked a little to the left, and then he got the pass rush. He looked at the pass rush by Jim Jeffcoat, and once he took his eyes off downfield and looked at the pass rush, there was no way he could do it. Here's Truitt. Here's where I would have taken a shot. I mean, here you have man-to-man. You just throw something up there, and you know it's either going to be yours or no one.
Give your receivers a chance. Freeze. The pass is there to Ellard. He just didn't get his hands ready in time.
And James Washington was there. Washington played with Henry Ellard. They both played together with the Rams, and James Washington said he always tells Henry Ellard, don't you come into the middle, because you're not going to get anything in here today.
You'll get a kiss, he says.
But he should have had this one. I mean, watch that pass right there. I mean, that's right in his left hand, and then he goes to bring it in. I don't know if he just dropped that ball. That was good protection. That was a good throw.
Saw James Washington still holding his hand. And now they take a timeout.
Yeah, James Washington is hurt.
That's a Redskin timeout, however. Freeze already over to the sideline. You're right. James Washington is in pain. 4:11 left in the first half.
It's that left arm. They didn't do anything to the arm. They just talked to him. He didn't go off the field, so he could come back in.
And he did.
And he just said it's okay.
Freeze back to throw it. Pass is complete to Titus Winans, who is leveled by Kevin Smith.
That's a good pass pattern now. I mean, they get everyone deep, and Winans just comes all the way across the field underneath.
This guy, Winans, number 83, is developing into a fine receiver for the Redskins. 4th and 1, they go on. Freeze. I don't think he got it. He slipped down Ricky Irvins, and Dallas will take over.
Boy, that'll drive a coach crazy. You go for it on a 4th down. You get the thing blocked pretty well. You're going to run a delay, and your running back falls down. I mean, he's just running right into the star. And it looks like when his right foot, it was his foot when he went to cut, the right foot just slipped when he hit the white paint in the star. Watch that right foot. It just slides right out of there. Whew.
From what I could tell, he would have had the first down.
Yeah, it looked like it was blocked. It looked like they had to play. And Ricky Irvins hits the paint and slides.
Nova checks the movement. The handoff is to Emmitt Smith. Smith straight ahead on the star.
Smith across the midfield stripe into Redskins.
Tim Johnson made the stop. Smith got about 5.
Looked like the coach has a list of goals or something that he wants to go over. He has them all written down there, like number 1, 2, 3. Now he's at the 3rd thing. Okay, this is the 3rd thing we want to do.
That's the script, maybe. 2nd. Smith. Met by Andre Collins. No gain. Maybe he lost one.
Oh, I think Nate Newton just got hurt, Pat. I could hear it. I heard him go from up here when he got hit from behind.
They're just about out of offensive lineman. Kennard's already out.
Watch Nate here. He makes a pretty good block. The play is over. Watch him come out. He hooks his guy here. See, now that's a good block. That's good positioning. Now watch here as he starts to push. The play's over, and he gets hit right there. And I heard the all the way from up here.
He's had a bad ankle.
Yeah, but he got that whole back collapsed here.
Yeah.
You see, here it is, Pat, right here again. He does an excellent job of hooking his guy, and then he gets the push. The play is over, and he just got rolled up on from the backside.
Tim Johnson rolled up his leg.
Now, I saw that one raw eyes.
You heard that one too.
Yep, I did.
Dale Hellestray would now come in Nate's place. Ron Stone is already playing the other guard in place of Kennard.
I'll tell you, this is a big blow for the Cowboys, because to me Nate Newton he's a fun guy, and he's a funny guy, and he's kind of good for what everything football's all about. And
also very big.
Also very big, but he plays well.
Yeah,
I mean,
he does. He can run.
For a big man, he can really move that stuff quickly.
Plus, you got to think about the fact that they got to play again on Thanksgiving Day.
And whatever it was that hit Nate from behind, maybe it just knocked the air out of him. Did that come out of Nate, or was that
dark glasses? I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, that's down there in the field.
A Snickers, that could come out of Nate, yeah.
Someone got a candy bar knocked right out of him.
That was Nate, I'm sure.
No, that couldn't have come out of Nate when he got knocked down.
Maybe there's not enough room in there for a candy bar.
Someone had a candy bar on their person, and it got knocked out on that play.
That'd be one of the trainers or something. Here's
I
Aikman.
vote for Nate.
And complete. Flag on the play. Irvin got up screaming.
Well, you know, everyone in the league always complains about Michael Irvin pushing off.
Now they're pushing him.
Well, you know, he's so big and physical, and he plays a physical game as a wide receiver.
Number 25, defense. First
Carter. Let's see.
That if you aren't a little physical with him, you don't have a chance. I mean, if you get up there tight and you're going to be physical, the first part was all right. Where Tom Carter got it is where he put his arm around his neck. I mean, I think that first part, you got to give him that first punch and that deal. And then when he put his arm around his neck, that was what the penalty was.
That's Nate Newton having his ankle taped on the outside of his shoe. 2:41 left in the first half. Aikman. Irvin. It's a catch. Aikman slow getting up. Ken Harvey put the pressure on.
Yep, he's going to get hit from this backside. You see, again, they missed Harvey right there, and he got Aikman's left leg, and it looked like that could have been a knee right there. Whew. I tell you, here's a nervous couple. Here's Troy Aikman's mother, and here's Troy Aikman's father, and I'll guarantee you, there's one person that knows what Troy Aikman does on every play, and that's his mother. A mother never misses a play that their kid plays in. A father may watch the ball in the air. He'll watch, you know, the other side. He'll watch it kicking. But a mother watches her son every play, all through the play.
There's Aikman over on the bench. Let's take another look at what happened to him.
Well, he did get the knee. Watch Ken Harvey. He's going to hit his left knee. You see it right there? Then he drives his shoulder into the left knee. The foot was planted in the ground, and Troy Aikman went out to get that check.
Thank goodness. The foot did slip a little bit. Emmitt Smith. 2 stiff arms and out of bounds. There's another Cowboy player down. It was Aikman's left knee. They're checking.
Yeah, you saw it. It was, he had the left foot planted. Ken Harvey hit the leg with the shoulder. The left foot was caught in the ground for just a while. It did come out, but that was the time that you know, that when the foot was caught, the only thing that could give is a joint.
We got the 2-minute warning. Rodney Peete is the quarterback for Dallas as Aikman. They continue to examine him. Aikman is in the middle, walking to the locker room.
Got to move back, fellas. You got to move back, fellas.
Yeah, and they're going to take him in now and check that left knee.
Ken Harvey rolled up. Nothing dirty about the hit that he took. He just rolled up. And Rodney Peete's the quarterback. Emmitt Smith's the ball carrier. Gets inside the 20.
Hey, it's been a tough month for Troy Aikman. You take the concussion, the split chin, the broken nose, the thumb. He had ribs.
Yeah.
A knee,
shoulder.
The shoulder. That's life as an NFL quarterback.
There's life as an NFL line coach.
Yep, the old line coach, Jim Hannaford. Of course, he was a head coach, too, remember, for the St. Louis Cardinals.
In his playing days, he was a heck of a receiver, too.
Receiver, yeah. In fact, he led the nation as a receiver.
Smith gets down for first down yardage at about the 16. Timeout.
Who would have thought that guy right there, the line coach, Jim Hannaford of the Washington Redskins, that ought to be one of those trivia questions.
Should be.
At the University of California, led the nation in receiving. And now he has a headset, and they got to put his name on top of his head so he can remember what his name is.
Well, that goes with the color of his hair.
Yeah, but I mean, why do they have to put a tape job on a guy, you know, like Hannaford? I mean, he knows who he is.
We know who he is.
Yeah, just put line coach or something, but they have to tape it everywhere.
Don't forget, coming up on the Dockers halftime, James and Terry will have all the scores and the highlights. Plus, we'll look at the last 6 weeks' most explosive and elusive runs in a new edition of Sweet Feet. That's all coming up next on Dockers halftime. Sweet Feet.
Well, Sweet Feet are good when they win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, big plays are good when the big plays win games.
I think Sweet Feet played back in the 30s, though.
Yeah, I could never tackle Sweet Feet. Sweet Feet used to tear a lot of groins.
Here's Rodney Peete. Harper. Dallas touchdown. Harper still down. He hurt his knee against the Giants on Monday night. Bruised it 2 weeks ago.
And he's pointing to that now. And Alvin Harper, watch his throw again. He's up there on top of the screen, coming out of the shade into the sunlight. All you have to do is throw it up in the air, and there's no one that can jump and catch a ball better than Alvin Harper right now.
And he's going to out-jump everybody.
There's guys that can run it and catch it and get open and catch it and do that better, but no one that can get up in the air higher and catch it better than Alvin Harper.
Bonio for the extra point with Novacek holding.
But I like that pattern. You could just run that, Pat. In the old days, you say just run into the shade and run into the sun, and I'll hit you. I'll hit you when you come out of the shade and into the sun.
That's good.
You watch that. That's exactly what Rodney Peete does here. Rodney Pete's looking at Alvin Harper all the way, and he just waits for him to come out of the shade. Here he comes right out of the shade. He comes right into the sun. And the minute he comes into the sun, the ball's there. So that's what a post pattern is when you get in this stadium. You run up in the shade and into the sun, and that equals post pattern.
And touchdown to Alvin Harper. That's pretty good. Be good in the street somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's the way you used to do it.
Yeah.
Used to do it in the shade, but sometimes it would be easier to run it into the shade so the guy couldn't always pick up everything. But here, see, it's right on the edge of it. But Alvin Harper sure can get up in the air. Yeah, and it takes timing to do that too. I mean, I think that Pete knows that if he gets it up there, there's only one guy that's going to catch it. It's going to be Alvin Harper.
What?
Where you get up that high and time your jump. And then time that coming right out of the shade. I'd run that one every time.
Rodney Pete's been a pretty good reliever this year.
Got a pretty good club to relieve with.
Bonio kicks off to Brian Mitchell at the 8. Mitchell taken down at the 26. Darren Woodson made the stop.
They're still working on Alvin Harper's back now. It looks like they're trying to get that jersey up. He's pointing to the area it is. And all you do is the guy's going to rub some stuff on there. Now that can't help it.
Maybe that's what
Here you are, you're in the NFL. Some guy just rubs a little stuff on there.
He's looking for that another candy bar, maybe.
I think Pete feels good about that. You know, that's the thing. When you're a backup quarterback, you don't get a lot of practice, you don't get a lot of attention, and then you're needed and you become the most important guy quickly.
John Freeze, incomplete, intended for Henry Ellard.
Now that area is getting bigger on Alvin Harper.
You can talk.
I think it started where it was just a little spot.
That you can talk to your assistant coach at the same time.
And that's one thing as a coach. You can still coach them even when they're being worked on.
Yeah.
I think if I were the Cowboys now, I mean, I would bet that no matter how Troy Aikman is, I wouldn't let him play anymore today.
I think you're right.
And I don't think I would play Emmitt Smith in the second half at all.
No word yet. Freeze down by Charles Haley.
We talked about Charles Haley and how disruptive he is. I mean, to me, I think as a pure pass rusher, he's still the best pass rusher there is. I mean, he has them all. Here, he just does this one with quickness. I mean, he just runs right around Jim Lachey, and he's always grabbing. He's always grabbing for stuff. He's grabbing for the guy, the ball, anything he can get.
Got huge, big, strong hands.
Yeah, and he has the moves. I mean, he can use a power move. He can use a quick move to the outside, and he can use quick moves to the inside.
Third down. Freeze back to throw. Desmond Howard gets enough for the first down with 15 seconds left to play in the first half.
The Redskins that time, Pat, they weren't going to let Charles Haley get to John Freeze. They had 3 blockers on him. They said someone else may get there, but Charles Haley is not going to be one of them that gets there.
15 seconds remaining.
Just take a look. Haley's up on the top. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's a 4th coming. Yeah. Someone may get there who's not going to be Haley.
Redskins do have 1 timeout left. Freeze hit by Hennings as he let it go and missed. Intended for Winans. 10 seconds left to play in the first half. Dallas leading Washington 24-7.
See here, that's the thing that the quarterback has to do. I mean, John Freeze does that. It's not fun, but you have to look downfield and step up and throw the ball, even though Chad Hennings is coming in the same direction you're stepping to.
2nd and 10. 10 seconds left. 3 wide receivers. Freeze again back to throw. Drops it out to Ricky Irvin. Knocked out of bounds by Larry Brown. With 2 seconds left. 1 more play.
I tell you, that was quite a drive there by, Rodney Peete coming in and then ended up throwing that ball to Harper. I think that makes a different game for the Cowboys. I think they can play it a different way now, being 24-7 than 17-7. I mean, I think they can, just keep Troy Aikman out. I think they can take Emmitt Smith. I think they can do some of those things that they couldn't have done without that touchdown.
3 wideouts on the right side, and Freeze throws to Winans, who's hit by James Washington. A hit he'll remember.
And is James Washington doing some talking now? And I told you not to come in there. That's the way we're going to end the half. That's the way we'll start the next half.
That's the end of the first half with the score Dallas 24, Washington 7. Stay tuned for the Dockers halftime as Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages from your local station.
Rumble!
Hey, you're better than he is.
I know. Well, we need a good second half. We need a good second half of rumbling going on here.
Well, this first half highlight is brought to you by MCI, proof positive. This was indeed a highlight, John.
Yep, there's Alvin Harper. Now, when the Cowboys get down inside the 20, he's their go-to guy, and he's going to the post where he goes to the inside, and then Rodney Peete just throws that ball up in the air as high as he can, and Alvin Harper catches it at this highest point.
The word we have, John, on Troy Aikman is that he has a sprained left knee. He will not return to action today. He'll be taken wherever they take you for an MRI either tonight or tomorrow, and then we'll know more. But it's been a tough year, as we were talking about before, for Troy Aikman. The concussion, the cut chin, bit through his tongue, bruised right thumb, broken nose, sprained left knee now, and he's been bothered by a bad shoulder throughout this season. There's the hit that sprained that left knee is. Washington kicks off to Dallas to begin the second half, and Kevin Williams comes out of there with it. Outside the 40. Halftime statistics. Cowboys 101 yards on the ground, 102 passing. That's the kind of balance and basics you look for. No turnovers.
Yeah, that's what you said when you get back to basics. The Cowboys started out playing basic, strong defense, getting the turnovers, running the ball. The first 2 touchdowns were running touchdowns. Emmitt Smith established that. And, of course, Troy Aikman got hurt. Rodney Peete came in and threw that 3rd touchdown to Alvin Harper.
Peete to Emmitt Smith. Couple of yards over the left side.
Yeah, what they did, especially the first quarter, Pat, they just gave it to Emmitt Smith. And, they wanted to to just hand him the ball. And if you look, he made 9 yards to the left, 71 yards to the middle, and then 5 yards to the right. He usually starts right or starts left, but then ends up going into that middle somehow.
And both of his longest runs in the first half were done like that on cutback. 2nd and 8. Novacek again moved. Smith again the carry. Nothing doing there. A loss of yardage. Shane Collins up to make the hit.
The one thing, you know, that I felt, and not second guessing, because I'll first guess this one, that I wouldn't beat Emmitt Smith up today, because I think on that Monday night game against the Giants, they did needlessly. Then they had the short week that I felt last week against the 49ers that maybe Emmitt Smith was a little tired. They have a game coming up Thursday.
He told us he was.
Yeah, and they have a game coming up Thursday, and I think you want to keep a fresh Emmitt Smith for these last 6 games.
He's out now. They have 3 wide receivers in the game. Here's Pete going deep for Harper. Incomplete. A lot of shoving and pushing going on. Flag on the play.
Yeah, and they were both pushing and shoving on that one. Harper had his hands on Carter, too.
That's Harper saying I didn't touch him.
Oh, yeah, he touched him. I was watching him all the way. He touched for about 10 yards. I know he did. I saw him touching him going down there.
He doesn't agree.
Well, it must be against him because they're coming back here.
Pass interference, number 80, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So the Cowboys will have to punt. John Jett in the game. The Cowboys now without their offensive right tackle. Well, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
No, but there it is right there. You see the right hand. Harper has the right hand up for about 5 yards anyway while that ball was in the air. So that was the right call.
John Jett. Brian Mitchell back deep for the Redskins. Good kick by Chet this time. At the 9 is Mitchell. Woodson took him down at about the 14.5. 24-7 as we open the 3rd quarter at Texas Stadium. Cowboys leading the Redskins. Stadium, Redskin ball at their own 15. Dallas leading 24-7. John Freeze still the quarterback. Freeze to Brian Mitchell. To the 18. Darren Smith and Leon Lett converge to bring him down. You know, you were talking in the first half about those 3 Dallas linebackers. The slowest one is Robert Jones, who's 4.6 in the 40. Now that's respectable time. That's good time.
Oh, that's great time. I mean, I remember when I used to coach, that was good time for wide receivers.
Yeah.
You see how they play him back off the line. None of them are up on the line where a big guy can get to him quickly.
Free and caught by Desmond Howard. Larry Brown, the cover man. That's enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, Larry Brown fell down. I don't know if he was moved down by a move by Desmond Howard. But who would have thought we'd be in the 3rd quarter and Desmond Howard would catch as many passes as he had, and Henry Ellard would still not catch a pass.
That's amazing.
Watch him. No, he just got tripped.
Yep. Just fell down.
Yeah, I think as Desmond Howard made the break, I think his foot got caught up with Larry Brown.
Hand off. Whoa, he hit by Ricky Irvin, hit by Leon Lett. Whoa.
Oh, Big Cat came on that one. One thing you know about Big Cat, he's going to penetrate. And no matter what the play, you may trap him and stuff, but here he is. He is going to penetrate. And now when that ball is snapped, he's taken off. And he takes on a block there. In fact, he took on a double team, broke a double team, and started up the field. And look what he found.
That is really a Big Cat.
That'll open up the sinuses.
Here's Freeze to throw it. Incomplete. Desmond Howard, the intended receiver. Larry Brown. Good coverage.
Yeah, that's what Leon Lett does. I mean, you know, not only plays the run so well, but is always given a push in the middle. You know, and always is up in there around the quarterback when he throws the ball. See Brown making the break on the ball then, and just boom, just getting that right hand in front there.
That's good coverage. 3rd and 9. 11:41 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Dallas up 24-7. Freeze. Intended for Howard, incomplete. Covered this time by Kevin Smith.
Well, John Freeze sure looks like he likes Desmond Howard. And I don't know if it's that Henry Ellard isn't getting open. I mean, he looks like they could have taken a couple shots to him, or they just aren't going to him. Look at this. Desmond Howard has a career high already. And again, not beating something to death, but Henry Ellard has yet to catch a pass.
Reggie Roby back to punt. And when he catches one, he can really rip it. He caught it.
He ripped it.
All the way back to the 11-yard line. Redskins coverage is good. Kevin Williams on the return. Stopped by Lamont Hollenquist. 24-7 Dallas. Happened to Troy Aikman. Against Arizona, Wilbur Marshall. That was a concussion and a hole in his tongue. In Cincinnati, another hit that brought a fine. Then last week against San Francisco, hit by Charles Mann, a broken nose, already a bad thumb. And today you saw the left knee of Troy Aikman. So Rodney Peete is the quarterback. Out of the pocket is Rodney Peete. He's going to run. Steps out of bounds at the 20. Dexter Nottage chased him out.
Yeah, they took Troy Aikman into the locker room, and as you said, Pat, they just checked him. He's not good. They're not going to bring him out here for the second half, and they're going to have an MRI on that left knee as soon as they can, and that's usually done at a hospital. And I would imagine whenever they can get that scheduled or get some time, it'll be either tonight or tomorrow morning. There again is Troy Aikman's mother and father sitting right behind. They have to be concerned about that.
This is Emmitt Smith. Trying to turn the corner. He won't get it done. Daryl Green up to make the stop. That'll bring up a 3rd down and about 8. Godfrey Miles. He's limping a bit.
I wonder how you get that job to hold that coach's cord. You see that kid there? That's a good kid's job. I mean, where you just walk around. I mean, how would you like to be that kid and be able to be down there on the sideline, get that bubble gum going, and being that close to the player?
Or the coach, and all you ever see is his back.
Yeah, but I mean, you can watch all the other stuff. Look, I mean, you can look up and see stuff going on and hear it.
3rd and 8. Rodney Peete gets it out to Daryl Johnston, and the Moose goes airborne. That is Jim Eddy's son holding the cord for him. I believe that's Jim. Can't tell.
Jim Eddy wouldn't have a son that young.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. John Jett will punt for Dallas. Brian Mitchell is deep for the Redskins. Good kick by Jett. Brock Marion is down in a hurry to make the stop. So the Redskins will take over at about their own 28-yard line. Dallas leading with 9:18 left in the 3rd, 24-7. Dallas leading 24-7. We're in the 3rd quarter, 9:18 left to play in the 3rd. Washington ball at their own 28. Norv Turner, ex-Dallas assistant, now the head coach of the Redskins. Rebuilding. John Freeze back to throw. Freeze through the hands of Henry Ellard. The word we just received is that Troy Aikman will be taken for an MRI on his left knee, and he is leaving right now. That's an MRI capsule. That's what the equipment looks like. And that's what Troy Aikman is about to enter for a look at his left knee. 2nd and 10. Desmond Howard in motion. Freeze gets it outside to Brian Mitchell. And right now, for a McDonald's update, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
In fact, Green Bay is coming back, and guess what? They go to the reliable one, Sterling Sharp, a 26-yard strike. Green Bay within 7, trying to gear up for Dallas, where they will be on Thanksgiving. Let's take you back to Dallas. Pat Summerall and John Madden.
All right, JB, here at Texas Stadium, that's Troy Aikman's truck. He's going right now for an MRI. 3rd and 4. Freeze under an avalanche of players as they put the heat on him. Darren Smith, the leader of that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that the Cowboys want to do. You know, we talk about those linebackers and how quick they are, but they're also quick as a blitzer. There's Troy Aikman right there, Pat. This is live now. He's just leaving. You can see they have that brace on his left knee. He's getting in his truck. He looks like he's going to drive the truck himself.
Yep.
And they want to get to him, get him in the hospital, and get that thing in the MRI as quickly as they can.
The fact that he's going to drive is a good sign.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough with that brace on there.
Yeah, it is. This is Kevin Williams. If he doesn't run out of gas, he's going to score. Touchdown, Kevin Williams. 83 yards on the punt return by Williams. Troy is not going to drive. I don't know if he's aware of what just happened or not. A lot going on at Texas Stadium. Inside and out now.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't know what's going on outside, but Kevin Williams, that's one dimension the Cowboys have now, that anytime you punt the ball, they can score with it then, too.
Bonio will attempt the extra point. I'm sure that Troy has got the game broadcast on his car radio, truck radio.
He didn't look real comfortable getting in that car.
But he didn't have any help. He got in on his own. That is a good sign.
That's Troy Aikman.
31-7. Bonio's kickoff, a low line drive one. Bounces into the end zone and out. They'll bring it to the 20. Let's look at that punt return by Kevin Williams again.
You know, the first thing he does, Pat, is catch the ball, then take it straight up the field. You're never going to make big gains by going right and left. You get up there, you get by that first wave, by that second wave, and then the next thing you're going to find is the punter. You make the punter miss, then you outrun the last two. He had some good blocks early that got him by that first and second wave. But the best thing that Kevin Williams did is catch that ball and boom, right now take it straight up the field.
Just took a look at the punt return on the giant screen that John was talking about earlier. 1st and 10 Redskins, their own 20. 31-7 Dallas lead. John Freeze, the quarterback. Leon Lett was loose, and Freeze had to throw early. Desmond Howard in the area.
It's always so hard to throw to your left because you got Haley coming on that side, and you got Leon Lett coming on that side, and that's what happens to a blocking fullback. I mean, no one cares. I mean, they just put there, and you just, you know, you blow holes in your jerseys, and stuff just blows out.
Yeah.
I just put the thread through it.
Yeah, don't get you a new jersey.
No, they just slap you right back in there.
Ricky Irvins picks up 4. This game summary now brought to you by Budweiser. Aikman, as you know, injured his knee, or we hope you know by now, injured his knee. He's gone for an MRI. Kevin Williams just returned a punt 83 yards for a touchdown. Emmitt Smith has 2 touchdowns. Here's John Freeze back. Incomplete. A flag on the play.
And I'll tell you, that either has to be Leon Lett against Leon Lett of the Cowboys, or he really took off quickly on the snap of that ball. One of the two.
Offside, defensive nose guard, 5 yards.
Who's it on?
Well, he wasn't the nose guard. It was Leon Lett, number 78, and it has to be right here. He's the first guy that moves. Now, you have to watch the ball. I don't know about that. I mean, sometimes the guy can be so quick that the officials' eyes aren't as quick as a guy like Big Cat Lett. I thought he got off pretty well on that one.
He really has developed into a heck of a player. And that's real power.
Let's watch it here. We'll watch it on the clicker again. If we just watch and see when the ball snaps. See the ball snap, and he's coming. I think that's okay. I mean, that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. I mean, you want that guy to go right with the ball. Leon Lett did it, and he was too quick for the officials.
3rd and inches, and that, if they got it by inches. Cedric Smith, the ball carrier. That may or may not be. That is Derek Kennard, who was injured. His foot was injured in the first half, and obviously he won't be back in the game.
Well, it was his toe. Remember, they tried a tape job on it, and then that didn't work, and they took it off and put some ice on it, and then they took the whole thing off and put him in street clothes. You know, a toe doesn't sound like much, but you know, when you get a toe and it's his big toe, and you got a lot of weight. Well, if you got any weight, you know, when you go to push off or to block, all the weight at one point goes right to that toe.
And he has a lot to support. First down, Redskins. Freeze to throw it. Incomplete. In the direction of Henry Ellard. Darren Woodson, the nearest Redskin defender, is Leon Lett.
I tell you, he has really become a fine player. I mean, I think that, you know, most of the big pass rushers and guys are defensive ends. You got the 2 defensive tackles in Minnesota, and I think that, you know, they're 2 of the top ones. I think Leon Lett is one of the top ones.
Well, Charles Haley has really been a help to Leon Lett. Pass is complete to Cedric Smith out of the backfield. Stopped by Dixon Edwards.
Yeah, we're getting up into that area where we found a Snickers bar. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that in my life. And everything football, I mean, I've seen guys hit, and I've seen stuff come flying out, Pat, and you have too. And we saw a collision, and then boom, I mean, there's a whole big pile up of guys, and then they unpile, and there's a Snickers bar.
Oh, no, just the wrapper.
I know, yeah. Well, I mean, the Snickers is down somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone down the Snickers right in the middle of the action.
Handout to Reggie Brooks, who hasn't had much playing time lately. And Norv Turner was saying last night, we asked about Reggie Brooks, and he said that, well, we've been behind so much. Reggie Brooks' pass catching, running patterns not his strength, and so there just hadn't been a place for him to work.
Yeah, and then Reggie Brooks again isn't happy, and he would like to maybe be playing someplace else next year.
That's Ellard in motion.
Losing tough.
That's Reggie Brooks. Fumble on the play. Reggie Brooks trying for more yards. The Cowboys are signaling that they've got it. It'll take a minute or 2 to unstack this pile.
I think if there's anything that
Cowboys have it.
I think if there's anything that's killed this Redskin team this year, one is, you know, again, they're outmanned. Just about every game they played a tough schedule, but it's these darn turnovers. I mean, these turnovers just killed them. See, he gets knocked there. Brooks gets knocked there. It almost came out the first time before he went into the spin.
Now it's loose. Now it's loose. And the Cowboys recover. They'll take over the Redskin 48. On the last play, dig his way in here.
That's what you like, when a guy will stick his head in there. I mean, you always look for that in a football player, in a linebacker. You always say, I'm looking for a guy that'll stick his head in there. And Jerry Seaman, who's the head of the officials for the National Football League, he does the same thing. He's looking for a guy that'll stick his head in there.
He's got one. Lincoln Coleman. Straight ahead. It looks like Emmitt Smith will indeed get a rest now.
Yeah, and I think that's a smart move. I think that, you know, that when you play 2 games in 5 days and you get ahead 31-7, I don't think guys like Emmitt Smith, I mean, I know guys like Emmitt Smith don't have to play anymore. I mean, I know, you know, the rushing title, and he has those rushing titles, and Barry Sanders ahead, but this is a team game, and winning and being fresh and ready for the next one is more important than any individual title.
That's Daryl Johnston fumble, and the Redskins have it. Darrell Morrison came up with the ball on the bounce. So Washington will take over. Daryl Johnston had it jarred loose.
You're going to see the Moose. He gets the handoff right here. He's making a cut. He had both hands over it, and he hit his own guy. Yeah. I think the right hand, just as he was going by, he hits his own man. That's it right there. The ball was just knocked out when his right elbow hit the guy blocking.
Washington with 4 turnovers. Dallas with just 1. John Freeze and Reggie Brooks are in the Redskins backfield with Cedric Smith. That's Reggie Brooks. He's not going anywhere. Wrapped up by Robert Jones.
Well, you know, it all starts with those 2 defensive tackles in there playing so strongly they don't let you get any movement. You know, and you don't get any movement in the front, and then those linebackers can come up and down. There's a guy who has really come a long way for the Cowboys, Chad Henne.
Number 95.
I mean, he is big and strong and gives them a good rush inside, is strong against the run. That guy's 6'6", 288 pounds.
Big, strong guy.
Yeah, went to Air Force. And then after that was in the Air Force for 4 years. Flew as a pilot in those things where there's only 1 seat. I still don't know how he did that.
Warthog. He said he ate himself out of the cockpit. Finally. That's Brooks again. And I think that's Chad Hennings on the bottom of the pile again, along with Russell Maryland.
But he was saying, if you look at his body, that they measure you from your waist, from here to here, to be a pilot. And then, you know, and it's whatever you are in that distance, you know, decides whether you can be a pilot. And he was 39 at one time, and he went to 41 in that area from your seat to your shoulder, or to your head.
Still growing while he was in the service. He said the reason they wouldn't let you fly, you couldn't eject. You ejected your head through the top of the canopy. Cockpit. Reggie Brooks almost breaks it, stopped by Clayton Holmes, gets into Dallas territory to the 48.
Reggie Brooks gets in there, and he likes to spin, and that's dangerous when you're spinning. You know, I know he already fumbled one time doing it, but it's dangerous when you're spinning in the line where there's a whole bunch of guys flying around there. Once in a while, out in the open field, it works better.
Brooks again. Cut down by Darren Smith.
Of course, maybe a spin would have worked that time. That was a bounce out, and he bounced out into where he had no blocker, and Darren Smith was just out there waiting for him.
You're talking about Chad Hennings. He was a high school wrestler. In fact, he was the Iowa State champion a couple of times. And those kind of moves, those wrestling moves, help you in the defensive line. Here's Freeze back to throw it. John Freeze hits Ethan Horton. Flag on the play. Dropped over on the other side of the field. Larry Brown was covering Desmond Howard, and that's where the flag was dropped. The completion was to Ethan Horton from Freeze.
Illegal contact, 24 defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
First down, Washington. at the Dallas 31.
24 is Larry Brown out there. There's really been a lot of contact today in this game. It seems like between the defensive backs, especially the corners, and the wide receivers. And they've been calling some on the defensive end, but they've been also calling some on the offensive guys. And a lot of them have been against the Cowboys both ways, offense and defense.
Well, the word gets around. Freeze, fakes, gonna throw. Desmond Howard threw his hands. He was out of bounds anyway. Larry Brown, the cover man, incomplete.
I still say one thing that the Cowboys are really conscious of coming into this game. They felt they had to stop the run. They wanted to confuse the quarterback, and if they had a receiver that they felt that they had to shut out or worry about, it was Henry Ellard. And I will say that the defense has done that. They've taken Henry Ellard out of this game.
Desmond Howard goes wide right this time. Ellard comes left. Freeze. Brooks behind him. Outside to Frank Wycheck.
Dixon Edwards was in the coverage there, and he ended up with the ball. I don't know if he was out of bounds or had control of it when he went out of bounds.
He says he did.
The officials are conferencing down there, Pat. The three of them are talking about it. They're going to say it's the Redskins' ball. See, Wycheck, here's the ball here. He catches the ball.
Ruling is good catch.
Oh, he got it out before he went out. He didn't. Oh, I don't know about that.
Does he go out of bounds?
I don't know, but I mean, not before the ball comes out. The ball's out now, and he's not out of bounds. He has it. Yeah. No, Dixon Edwards has that.
Yeah.
They said that he caught it.
Very unpopular with the crowd here at Texas Stadium. 3rd and 6.
That's the first light this crowd has shown today, and their team's ahead 31-7.
Freeze tried to throw the screen pass, knocked down by Jeffcoat as he was pressured by Hennings.
Yeah, that's the thing that they like about Chad Hennings. You know, we talk about not only playing the run, but getting up and getting pressure on the quarterback. You know, just getting a push right now, just getting in his face. You see, he got the pressure. He made him throw the ball, and it was Jim Jeffcoat that got the knockdown.
4th and 6. The population of the town where Hennings went to high school in Iowa was 150.
And he had a rank, I bet, at the top of that class.
I bet he did.
To get in Air Force, you can't be in the middle.
In every way. Freeze going deep. He's got a man open. The Titus running incomplete. Flag on the play, I believe.
I think that's just a yellow.
I think it is. Another candy wrapper, maybe.
Norv Turner was saying that, you know, he wanted to take some shots. He's taking his shots. I mean, he started off taking shots. Now, Heath Schuler can't play in this game unless John Freeze were to get hurt, because he's the quarterback that is the emergency quarterback. So the only way he could play, he's just playing catch here. The only way he could play is if both the active quarterbacks were injured.
Which means Farrat and Freeze both would have to get hurt before Schuler could play.
And they have to get hurt, not just taken out.
Here's Rodney Peete. Intended for Daryl Johnston. He was pressured by Dexter Nottage, who might have gotten a hand on the ball.
Yeah, and I think he got a hand on Rodney Peete's hand, because Rodney Peete's holding his hand now. And that's that same thing. You know, when those quarterbacks, this is what happened to Troy Aikman in practice, but he hit his thumb on a helmet. And you'll see when they follow through, you see sometimes they get hit. At that time, he just got hit by Nottage's hand, not the helmet. You see his hand follow through, and maybe he did hit the helmet.
Peete, handoff straight ahead to Daryl Johnston. Now, if Rodney Peete couldn't continue with Aikman already hurt, Jason Garrett could play. He's the Dallas third quarterback.
That's right. You know, and this is how quarterbacks get those things like thumbs. It's throwing the ball and then following through. I don't know if it hit the hand or the helmet or both. I think it hit the hand first, and then maybe even hit the helmet after that. But Rodney Peete is still holding that right thumb.
There's Jason Garrett. 3rd and 6. Pete bounced it to Michael Irvin.
Yeah, and Rodney Pete's thumb is hurt, and that's affecting his throwing too, because right after he threw that ball, he'll grab that thumb. See the pressure he gets the blitz coming right up the middle.
Yep.
You see him grab the thumb?
Yeah.
I mean, he threw that ball, and you know, like Terry Bradshaw said a week ago, the thumb is the rudder for your throwing motion. And when you don't have that thumb, then you can't grip the ball and put everything you have to on it.
He couldn't even follow through. It was hurting. It was such pain. And he grabbed it immediately. John Jett. Back to punt. Good kick. This is a dandy. Brian Mitchell retreats all the way to the 15-yard line. He's headed up the middle. And down at about the 29. Hit by Dave Thomas. Well, one thing you don't want, you never want injuries, of course, but with another game in 4 days, they can be doubly difficult. Of course, then after that, you've got the days to rest, but there's Jason Garrett getting ready. Speaking of 4 days, Thanksgiving, we'll be right here at Texas Stadium as the Packers come to town to face the Cowboys. Our coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 Pacific. Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw, and Heather Locklear. And that coverage begins at 3:30. That's an unusual group.
I think that's a great day. I always enjoy Thanksgiving. I mean, you know, you can't beat that. You can't beat football and turkey.
Of course, we'll have the turkey. Flag on the play. That is not a candy wrapper.
And again, as I said, there seems to be
Contact, number 24, defense.
Larry Brown.
5-yard penalty,
Call
automatic
for the
first down.
illegal contact. Speaking of Thanksgiving, we have the annual Turkey Leg Awards. The Bears defensive line won last year. Emmitt Smith and the offensive line the year before. Emmitt Smith, in fact, is a 2-time winner. He won with Troy Aikman back in '90. The first winner is going to be back here next week, Reggie White.
I know, so we're going to have a lot of ex-winners here in the same field. But when Reggie White won that was in 1989. That was when he played for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right. And the turkey only had 2 legs.
Yeah, well, the turkey sometimes has 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. We never know. We're still working on growing the turkey.
Brooks out of bounds at just outside the 38-yard line. Darren Smith knocked him out of bounds. Rodney Pete, excuse me, John, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that they're working with Rodney Pete there. You know, whether, again, the whole thing is being able to grip that ball.
Well, they say it's questionable right now whether or not he'll be back. He has a sprained thumb. And we might see Jason Garrett.
And you can see that they put some kind of wrap on it to give him some support. But again, if you can't grip it, that's the whole thing. If you can't grip it, you can't throw it, you can't play.
John Freeze as quarterback of the Redskins. This is Brooks, hit from behind. Hit by Russell Maryland. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Dallas 31, the Redskins 7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages from your local Fox station. Pete, sprained right thumb was the word that we got, and he's headed in for a look. Yeah, Godfrey Miles headed for the locker room. They're going to have more people in the locker room than on the sideline in a minute.
Yeah, some of them went in the locker room like Troy Aikman and left the locker room, and he's on his way to the hospital for an MRI, and they have another game Thursday.
On 3rd down, Chad Hennings and Charles Haley were in John Freeze's face, and he just got rid of the ball.
Yeah, that's when you really like to have a very good defense and know that you can win that matchup. Now you have the game 31-7. You're getting banged up all over the place, but your defense can handle the game from here on in. I mean, after 20 points ago, they could have handled this game from here on in.
After they got over the shock of the no-huddle offense, they readjusted very quickly and have been in control ever since then.
And I think we're going to see Jason Garrett, the emergency quarterback, when the Cowboys get the ball.
Good kick by Roby. Kevin Williams back at the 5. Knocked backwards to about the 10 or 12 by Lamont Hollenquist. There's Jason Garrett, and he will be the Cowboy quarterback when we come back. Back at Texas Stadium, where the quarterback situation for the Cowboys has lost the first 2. Troy Aikman has gone to the hospital already. Rodney Peete just went to the locker room, and Jason Garrett, number 17, is the quarterback. Lincoln Coleman is the ball carrier. Who would be the next quarterback?
Well, that's who it would be. It'd be Jay Novacek. See, because once you go to Jason Garrett, he wasn't active today. He was the emergency quarterback. So they play with Jason Garrett. Now, once you make that commitment, the other 2 can't come back. Of course, we know Aikman couldn't come back anyway, but Rodney Peete cannot come back and play. Sterling Palmer is the injured Redskin there.
He's been getting, according to the Redskin coaches, better and better. Jay Novacek. His hobby is training and riding cutting horses. Now he might be a quarterback. So much going on. This seems like a couple of days ago. Troy